Welcome to Understanding Human Anatomy and our discussion of the perineum. This video will begin a discussion of the female urogenital triangle. So let me start by drawing in the os coxae. And drawing pubis, put the obturator foramen in, and remember that the obturator foramen is primarily covered with a membrane, the obturator membrane, and we'll color that in gray. We'll go back with the other os coxae, pubic bones, the obturator foramen, and again we'll color all but a small opening of the obturator foramen in with the gray shading to represent the obturator membrane, and we'll sketch in the symphysis pubis, and we'll draw in the sacrum and coccyx, like so. And then we'll draw in the sacrotuberous ligament on each side to complete the boundaries of the perineum. Notice that the subpubic angle in this diagram is a much wider angle. It's about a 90-degree angle, which is typical of the female perineum. The male perineum, that's always an angle less than 90 degrees. And let me sketch in the three openings we have in the female perineum: the urethra, the vagina, and the anus. And what I'm going to do is color in, as I did with the male, the pelvic diaphragm, levator, ani, and coccygeus, with a solid color, and I will put some lines in here to indicate directions of muscle fibers. Like so. So this is pretty much how we left it in the previous diagrams. I'm just not distinguishing the various muscles that make up the pelvic diaphragm. And let me draw in a star to indicate the perineal body, and a smaller one back here for the anal coccygeal ligament. And as in the male, there are two muscles forming a sheet. We have the sphincter urethrae, and let me color that in. And as this muscle was described in the male, it takes origin from the pubic symphysis, the ischiopubic ramus, and its fibers run transversely from the ischiopubic ramus to insert on a midline raphe. Like so. So this is the sphincter urethrae muscle. And it's in purple. Same color scheme I used for the male. The sphincter urethrae. And like in the male, we have another muscle, the deep transverse perineus muscle, and it continues this thin sheet of muscle from the pubic symphysis back to the perineal body, And we'll color this muscle in. And again, the sphincter urethrae and the deep transverse perineus muscle form really a muscular sheet with just a minor separation between them. And so let me draw in some lines to indicate the directions of the fibers. And again, they're running transversely, and they insert on a midline raphe or on the edge of the vagina. Like so. And I will complete that midline raphe here into the perineal body. So this is the deep transverse perineus muscle. And we'll sketch a line over to it. And again, as we had in the male, if there is a deep transverse perineus, there'll be a superficial transverse perineus. So we'll draw in the superficial transverse perineus. Remember, it is a spindle-shaped muscle and we'll color it in. Like so, and we'll sketch in some muscle fibers like so. So this is the superficial transverse perineus muscle. I'll draw a line over to it. Remember that these three muscles, the sphincter urethrae, the deep transverse perineus, and the superficial transverse perineus, make up the urogenital diaphragm. Now, as we did in the male, in the female, we're also going to have erectile tissue. And I want to start by drawing in the bulb. And the bulb in the female is split. There are actually two bulbs, a left and a right bulb. I'm drawing in here, and let's color this in. Like so. And the bulb, as I said, is paired the bulb is paired in the female, left and right, and the bulb actually sits within the labia minora on either side of the vagina, on either side of the vagina. I want to add in a small structure in each bulb, and this is the greater vestibular gland. Sometimes referred to as Bartholin's gland, that's the older name for it. And Bartholin's gland, or the greater vestibular gland, secretes lubricating fluid into the vulva, the opening into the vagina, to facilitate intercourse. these glands also sometimes get infected, and then they're referred to as a Bartholin's cyst. Now, as in the male, in the female, there's erectile bodies associated with the corpus cavernosum. And you notice from the way I pronounced that there's only one erectile body in the female, the singular corpus cavernosum, where there are two in the male, the corpora cavernosa. But the single erectile body is still anchored by a pair of crura that attach to the ischial-pubic ramus. So I'm coloring in one of the crura, and then the other crura, and finally the corpus cavernosum of the clitoris. So let's put some labels in here. Crura, and the corpus cavernosum of the clitoris. Put a line over to it. Now there is muscle associated with the crura and with the bulb, similar to what we had in the male. I'm going to start by sketching in the ischiocavernosus muscle, and as I did in the male diagram, I'm just drawing lines on the crura in a dark brown to indicate this muscle. It's wrapping all around the crura, like so, and that will be the ischiocavernosus muscle. And we'll draw a line over to it. And then in the bulb, or on the bulb, surrounding the bulb, is the bulbospongiosus muscle, but since the bulb is paired, instead of one bulbospongiosus muscle, we have paired bulbospongiosus muscles. And again, I'm drawing them as a series of lines on the bulb. So this is the bulbospongiosus muscle. And again, they are paired muscles in the female. So you can see that the female urogenital triangle has many of the same structures as the male. They're just arranged differently. Chiefly, the bulb is paired, so it splits and passes on either side of the vaginal opening within the labia minora. The corpus cavernosum is singular in the clitoris, where it is a paired structures in the penis, but it's still anchored by a pair of crura attaching it to the ischiopubic ramus. In the next video, I'm going to do a coronal section like we did for the male through the pelvis, the difference being that we're going to take the section through the vagina instead of through the urethra. So thank you for your attention.